from the Corporate Interface Cell, and a very warm welcome to another episode of Business Edge 4.0 6 Industries 1 podcast, where we delve deep into the corporate world's ever-evolving landscape. The Corporate Interface Cell is the corporate club of NMIMS ASM SOC, where we strive to bridge the gap between the students and the corporate world by providing a breakthrough into the corporate and business world. I'm Mahi Modgil, your host, and today we have a very distinguished guest with us here today. Mr. Rohan Ranade, a seasoned professional in the hospitality and real estate industry, who is here to share his remarkable journey and insights. With an astounding career that spans several prestigious organizations, including the Indian Hotels Company Limited, Oberoi Hotels, Hilton Worldwide, and many more, Mr. Ranade brings a wealth of experience in the hospitality and real estate sector. Currently serving as the Associate Vice President of the Feasibility, Real Estate and Development at the Indian Hotels Company Limited, Mr. Ranade's journey has been nothing short of an inspiration. Thank you for coming here, sir. Join us as we delve into Mr. Ranade's professional journey, the challenges and opportunities in the hospitality and real estate sectors, and his insights on these industries. This promises to be an enlightening conversation that you wouldn't want to miss. It truly is an honor having you here today, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Let us begin with our first segment, shall we?
Yeah.
So my first question for you, Mr. Ranade, is that you've had an impressive journey in the hospitality and development industry, working with renowned organizations like IHCL, Hilton Worldwide, and Oberoi Hotels, and many more. Can you share some key insights or lessons that you've learned throughout your career that have shaped your approach to your current role?
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yes.
I have not done an interaction with the university in a very long time.
Yes.
And it's always nice to come back to basics and see what's going on,
Right.
and then get to understand the new pulse of how you guys are looking at things.
Yes.
So yes, look, I've spent over 15 years so far, and then I think there are a few things which sort of come to my mind, which are key learnings for me, or how I see it as I have progressed through the career. If I have to put maybe 3 or 4 things, not in any priority, but I would say the first thing is continuous learning.
Right.
So it's not that you graduate out of school and then you know everything. You get to learn every day, and I think if that is the approach you have, then you actually get to do a lot more.
Right.
So that is very important for you, particularly for students like you who are now graduating very soon.
Right.
Yes, the school will give you a lot, and that is a very strong and formidable base to grow. But as you move, you actually learn a lot more when you actually get hands-on experience.
Right.
And when you are actually placed in a situation where you don't have a faculty to solve it for you.
Right.
So that is important. Second, in my view, is also adaptability.
Right.
It's important that you keep on adapting to a newer environment,
Right.
to a newer situation as you do things.
Right.
And if I have to say, now there is a growing need also to manage time,
Right.
and to manage also people.
Yeah.
I am not an expert in managing time. I must admit that, but I'm working towards that. That is still on my learning curve.
Right.
How do I do that? And then from the industry where I come from, people actually run the business.
Right.
And if you are not able to get it right with the people, then you will face difficulties. So
Right.
it's critical that you learn the skills to manage people, to engage people. It is not always that there is a manager and there is an associate. It's how you get together as a group and
Right.
then do things, achieve things, and do much better than what you have been doing in the past.
Right.
And I think the last thing which I think is important is how do you manage and react to diversity, because there are people, there are cultures, there is orientation, there is gender, there are multiple things. So you need to be prepared to be in an environment which is diverse,
Right.
and it is not just in a particular city, but as you move geographies, you will experience that there is a lot more diversity.
Right.
Be in culture, be in food, be in the way you speak.
Yeah.
I think that is something which is which keeps me on the toes.
Right. So as you mentioned and you emphasized on adaptability and the willingness to change according to the environment, the hospitality and real estate industry has undergone significant changes in these past years.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges and opportunities that you see in today's market?
Look, I mean, I'll probably answer that into two parts.
Right.
One is that we all went through COVID, and look, hotel businesses were never designed to have zero revenues.
Yeah.
Like, I would say no business was ever designed.
Right.
But for industries such as hotels, or I would say airlines, which are heavily focused on people,
Right.
it becomes even more difficult to hold on everyone together,
Right.
and make sure that you are at least holding on to, and you're able to sustain what is going on. So I mean, that was a big learning for me, because it was of course a black swan event, but it was not a one-off or a one day or a 1 week. It was a longer term event.
Right.
So I mean, that was a big learning,
That is
which personally for me, and I think for most of us, was something different, and how we actually overcame that. I mean, if you reflect back, you still see, okay, what all you did,
Right.
and how you did. So that was something interesting, and I would say I hope it should not come again, such an
Right.
event.
Right.
And in my view, I would say people is one of the biggest one.
Right.
I mean, you would have seen in the development and construction industry, I don't know if you've spoken to anyone yet, but there was almost like an exodus kind of a situation,
Right.
where people wanted to go back home. And all these were actually laborers who were
Right.
doing construction work, who were building, who were carpenters, who were
Right.
all these. And suddenly all these people wanted to go home.
Yeah.
So that continues to be a challenge, and how you react to that. So also there is a renewed focus on sustainability.
Right.
So that is something which in my view will sort of have an impact in the medium to long term.
Right.
Because the way businesses grow, it's important that you are sustainable in the growth.
As you mentioned, COVID, it was a vulnerable time for all of us, and it also, highlighted the opportunities, and it truly is a commendable effort for the IHCL stepping up to help frontline workers and first responders like nurses, as you mentioned. And you also mentioned sustainability being a growing concern in this generation, especially in the real estate and hospitality sector. Your journey has been truly remarkable in the industry. You've gone from various roles, from various organizations, and now you're the Associate Vice President of IHCL. So given your extensive experience, could you share any memorable project or achievement and the valuable lessons that it taught you?
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so one of the most recent ones, I will tell you, most recent memorable experience was just a few months back. Being part of the Tata Group, we are fortunate enough that we have access to a lot of programs.
Right.
So there is one such program called Business Excellence, and it is run at the group level.
Right.
So I mean, this is 3 or 4 months back, and then there was this program on business excellence where they had gathered people from different. It was a very diverse mix of people
Right.
coming from different elements of the business.
Right.
and it's like your mini capstone project, what you will do otherwise. But so idea was that you get together and then you all start looking at the same problem, and start looking at how a particular company has solved the problem, and you give your own rating. And big learning was that it's the same problem and it's the same company, but there are 25 people who look at it very differently. Extremely differently. And then when you get together and then say create smaller groups and then try and argue it out and then come to one conclusion, that is a remarkable achievement in my view. Key learnings from there were that it is important that one is, of course, there is focus on learning, but second is also how you embrace people and how you get along with everyone and then move. So in a diverse world, it is very important that we look at.
So as you mentioned that people is different perspectives and people is what builds the business. So you've had international exposure as well, including studying at the International Hotel Management Institute in Switzerland, as you had mentioned in your profile. So and you had recently posted as well that IHCL has branched out into continental Europe by signing a Taj Hotel at Frankfurt, Germany. So how has this global perspective impacted your work in the Indian hospitality and real estate market?
Actually, it's a very good question. What you have, I won't just say it is limited to global, because I would say culture changes every 200-300 years, 200-300 kilometers, right? And then, yes, of course, there is an outside-in view, there is an inside-out view. There is a way you do things in, let's say, in Switzerland or in Mumbai, and then you don't do it that way in Delhi, and then you completely don't do it in another way in Tamil Nadu. So it is very different the way you approach things. So that's why I mentioned earlier that adaptability becomes extremely critical. And if you are able to continuously learn and adapt to newer situations, that's where your resilience also comes in, because sometimes you have to be patient to get through what you're doing. And I think that's something which one needs to keep in mind.
So as you mentioned, culture changes every 200 to 300 kilometers. Every organization that you go to has a different perspective or the different way of working at things. So your educational background includes certificates from prestigious institutions like Cornell University, IIM Ahmedabad and ISB. So how have these programs influenced your professional career, and how has the different perspectives at each university helped you and guided you?
In a big way. Also, some of these programs are if I have an opportunity, I will probably do it again. Because if I would have done something 5-8 years back, and then I am in a different point in time, and then that helps to just reflect back on how you're trying to approach and what you're trying to do, and then it actually helps a lot. And I am a firm believer that one must learn continuous basis. And it could be, nowadays it has become very convenient, like you could do like a Coursera which is free, but in a more organized way, you also get an opportunity to network with people, because going back to a school is not just why the school is so good or why the faculty is so good, but you actually learn a lot when you are with people who have different backgrounds and different points of views. So it is very important. So it has definitely helped me, and then I would continue to do that.
So as you said that if you're a different person as you were 8 years ago, but you would still do it again. So what is one thing that you would redo in your career?
In my career.
If you had any chance to have a undo or a redo, so what would that be?
Oh yeah, I spoke to you about work-life balance, right? So probably I wouldn't have come here on a Saturday and then maybe another weekday. But maybe that is something I would have definitely done. On a lighter note.
So you've had an incredible journey in the industry. You've been in various organizations. You have been in various institutions, educational institutions. So as someone who has worked in various roles within the hospitality sector, what advice would you give to individuals looking to pursue a career in this field?
There is lots to do in our world.
Right.
And many people see it, many people know it or see it for the glamour part.
Right.
But there is a lot more to do than glamour. I mean,
Right.
some people love the glamour and then they want to be in the front and then they want to engage with a who's who of the world and then react on Instagram with them and all that.
Right.
But there is a lot more to do in our world, and then be it operations, it's a very heavy people-focused business, right? So skills like HR, skills like programming, timing comes handy. There is, of course, there are many activities. You right from sales and marketing to revenue management, because you're selling. If you have a 1,000-room hotel, you're selling 1,000 rooms 1,000 times a day.
Right.
So that needs someone who is extremely sharp, and then you could actually do very well, because revenue management is a big thing, and not just in renting rooms, but also your catering facilities, your restaurants, everything what you do. I spoke about HR. There is a lot of opportunity even on the legal side, because companies continue to grow, and companies continue to have challenges and situations where you need people who are lawyers. You need people who want to grow the business. You need people who actually are very good cooks. You need people who are very personable, and then they can make your day by just interacting with you. So there is a lot of opportunity in our world, and I feel that students or younger generation who has a more neutral education. Yes, of course, there is hotel school, and then which is much more focused in what you do. But I believe that if people from much more neutral, like what you all are doing, come into hotels, they will have a very different perspective to what hotels do, right? And then I'm sure there will be an opportunity to excel here.
Your passion for this field is truly amazing to see, and I think I speak for the audience as well as myself that it's amazing that this field is quite dynamic and quite diverse. So any one of us would like to enter into the field. And you mentioned that it's not just glamour, but it actually has
there is a lot. I mean, if
well.
you like to sit behind a desk and do your finance job, we have so many finance associates in hotels, right? Because there is so much revenue being generated. There's so much entries being booked. You need corporate finance professionals. You need good sales and marketing professionals. You need all these kind of professionals who not necessarily need to come out of a hotel school, right? They can come from anywhere.
Thank you for your answer, sir. As we conclude our first segment, I want to express my gratitude for the incredibly enlightening discussion. I am sure our listeners have learned a lot from your insights. Now let's shift gears and dive into the more dynamic segment of our show, beginning with the high-speed rapid-fire round. I'll be presenting a series of questions, and we're looking forward to your quick and clever responses. Mr. Ranade, are you ready?
Let's try.
So I'll begin the round, sir.
Okay.
Having started your career as an intern at Taj Hotels and now an AVP at IHCL, if you had to describe your career journey in one word, what would it be?
In one word?
Yes.
Evolution.
One skill you believe every successful professional should have?
Adaptability.
Your favorite leadership quote or mantra?
See, I reflect back to, and every time I think more about this, is Jamshedji Tata said that the very purpose or the main reason for an organization's existence is not just the people, but actually people are the most integral part for the organization. So, and if you reflect back and then think about it, it actually in simple language, it actually means is that the organization is actually there for the community, and you cannot just take away community out of it. But actually, community is the main part why the organization exists. So I mean, it's a very deep quote from a leadership point of view, and then he said it. I don't even remember, several decades ago. He was the founder of the group. Then he made that statement in his early days. So I think that is something which is which I like to continuously reflect back upon.
Local cuisines or international flavors?
My personal favorite?
Yes.
I would like local food.
Cultural heritage or contemporary art?
Cultural heritage.
Ocean view or city skyline?
I can get both.
Okay, the last question. If you had to choose another career for yourself, what would it be?
Another career? I'm not sure about career. But I always wanted to be a pilot. I don't know if that is a good career for me at this point in time, but I will want to learn how to fly.
That was really fun, sir. It appears I've been the only one asking you questions till now. How about we turn the spotlight to the questions that are on our inquisitive listeners' minds? We're about to dive into our next segment, where we'll be asking and addressing the frequently asked questions CIC wants to know. These are the questions that have been frequently asked. So I'll begin with the first question. So how do you like to celebrate your achievements, whether it be big or small?
Whether it is big or small, you must celebrate it. I believe you must celebrate it, because these are small moments where you know you have achieved something, and then you absolutely must celebrate. Be it how much of a small or how much of a big it is. You must celebrate with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues, because you spend a lot of time with your work colleagues, so they are as good as your family and friends. So you must do that.
So our next question is, so how do you stay motivated on a tough day?
It's very important that you be patient, and then not always you will be happy, and not always you will be celebrated. But if you have to be patient and then think through things before you react sometimes. So I feel patience is critical in what you do, because you might react on a subject very quickly, and then it might not work out well. So that's how I do it, but I know colleagues who have a different view.
So the next question is, how would you explain your job to a child in a way that they could understand?
I would say that I work in a hotel company, and the place we go for a meal, I want to create many more places like that, so we can go for more meals.
I think that is appropriate for a child. So the next question, how do you define success in the corporate world today?
success is it's very subjective.
Right.
I think if you set your goals right,
Right.
then you know if you are on the right track.
Right.
And of course, in a larger organization, the organization will make that very simple for you.
Right.
And then they will make a scorecard, or they will create things like that, and then make it extremely approachable, measurable.
Right.
So that is what I feel. But I believe that even if it is a small success or a big success, or a failure,
Right.
but even a failure is, I would look at it as a learning, so
Right.
that the next time I succeed.
So the last question for this segment: how do you motivate your team so that they reach your performance standards?
So look, I have a mentor,
Right.
And I did not ask if I can mention him.
Right.
But so one thing which I learned from him
Right.
was that, and he actually showed it rather than speaking. He demonstrated it to me.
Right.
And he told me that, Rohan, it's actually not taking the team, it's going with the team.
Right.
So if you think back, it's quite deep. And he showed it to me in a form of a gesture. And he said that, look, if you are a leader, you can go like this, or you can go like this.
Yes.
So he said, like, this is a better approach, because there is a lot more fun
Right.
when you go together with your colleagues. And of course, yes, there will be ups and downs, and then there will be opportunities where you could do better, but that is a better approach.
Right.
than going first and then dragging everyone with you.
Right. So I think you've answered all the questions that our listener had on their minds. Now we're going to add a bit of creativity to our conversation.
Oh my god, I can see
with
that.
the emoji round.
This is new.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, you will be using the emojis to explore your thoughts on some intriguing topics that I'll be asking you. I'll be asking you a series of questions and I invite you to respond with emojis that capture your sentiments. So I'll be giving you an example of how this round will work. For instance, my reaction to when you agreed to coming for our podcast, my reaction was the shocked reaction. I was delighted that you would be coming here. So this is the facepalm one. This is the no comments one. This
Okay.
is the facepalm one. This is the angry one, and this is the happy one.
Okay.
And of course, the shocked one. So I'll be asking you the questions now. You can
Okay.
pick
Let's try.
as per your liking. So for the first situation, when facing with a complex real estate negotiation, how would you describe your emotions?
When facing a complex situation,
Yeah.
I am actually the most happiest because
Okay. When your team surprises you with a creative development idea, what's your immediate reaction?
immediate reaction.
Yes. So how do you feel when you successfully secure a significant hotel development deal?
I'm very happy.
So as we head towards the end of our interview, I have to say Emoji certainly brought a delightful element into our discussion. With the enthusiasm intact, let's move on to the final segment of our podcast. We've covered a lot about the industry and the work that you've done, and now it's time to uncover more about you. And let's begin with our segment known as Beyond the Boardroom. So the first question is there any memorable encounter with a celebrity guest while working in the industry?
Yeah, quite a few.
So could you
Quite a
share?
few. Long time back, when I was interning
Right.
with Taj again. My job was to, inside the guest room there is this mini bar, right, where you have 2 bottles of whatever, some whiskey and then a Coke or something like that, right? Some biscuits and all. So my job was to go to all the rooms, go check if someone has consumed anything, make a report and refill it.
Okay.
That was my job.
Right.
And I go and knock one room, and then a tall person opens the door, and he's the probably most respected celebrity, very well reputed actor.
Right.
And he starts speaking to me in Hindi, and it's like a very polished Hindi. And he says that, how can you help me? I said, no, nothing. I just want to check your mini bar. He said, okay, go ahead. I have not consumed anything. And then he said, what do you do? I said, this is what I do. Then I spoke to him for some time, and then I left. So that was, I would say, one of the many firsts. But I have got a chance to meet many.
Right.
And I mean, he was from the film fraternity, but I also got a chance to meet senior leaders, some ministers, etc. And then it's a very different conversation, particularly when you engage, you realize actually the point of view is at a very different level.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get bothered with small things that, oh, I have to go do this, do that, but there's a perspective which is much larger, and then how you it's a big learning, how you react to it.
Right. I think it goes with the job, sir, meeting celebrity guests. If you were a guest at an IHCL hotel, what is the one amenity that you treat yourself with?
What is the one amenity that I will treat myself with? One amenity in the room?
So in the hotel, any service that they provide?
Actually, many amenities I would like to treat myself with.
So could you name a few?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely want to go and have a nice meal.
Right.
Then I would definitely want to go and unwind in the wellness area in one of the beautiful Jiva spas.
Right.
What they have in the hotels, and then come out as a completely relaxed and a rejuvenated person.
Okay, so the last question. One advice for us students as we soon enter the corporate foray.
It's time to I would say embrace for real life.
Right.
The school has actually given you a lot. It has given you a very solid base.
Right.
Don't move your ground.
Right.
Take your first job as a learning opportunity. Try and absorb as many things as you could.
Right.
You won't be able to make an impact on the first day.
Right.
It's good that you understand the culture of the company, whichever company you go. Understand how you engage.
Right.
How the organization interacts with people, and then you start contributing to it. Keep an open mind.
Right.
Don't say that I learned this. I learned. Let's say for finance professionals, I learned how to do valuation this way, and then I don't agree with you. It doesn't make sense because you have left the school. So it's important that you continuously adapt to the environment and enjoy.
Right. Thank you for your advice, sir. So our conversation with Mr. Rohan Ranade has been a source of enlightenment as he graciously shared his invaluable insights and experiences within the realm of hospitality and real estate. I am confident that our viewers have greatly benefited from this discussion. Mr. Ranade, I extend my sincerest appreciation for your time and participation. It has been a true pleasure to host you on Business Edge 4.0. I hope you had a wonderful time.
I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
It was our pleasure, sir.